So much choppiness in today's market. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions, and I want to get right to the point. In today's live trading session, I made it very clear, although that there was a lot of selling pressure and we really enjoyed it, right? MSTR was showing signs of lower lows and lower highs, and MSTR is not a really good example because MSTR is just a shitty stock overall. I want to talk more about the overall NASDAQ market and big tech. Big tech was aggressively selling off. Good, valuable companies, QQQ saw an aggressive retracement. That's for the overall index. Amazon saw a really strong retracement and then began to consolidate. We saw Oracle today. I'm sure a lot of you guys heard the news. Oracle was down like over 15% at one point. Then it began to recover. Some people see this as an overreaction and a potential dip buy opportunity. I respect that to the extent of if you think markets are going to recover, then I do believe that Oracle then can be given the environment to possibly recover again. But with the overall news of over $500 billion in performance obligations to provide perspective, Oracle generates $60 billion in revenue annually. If I'm not mistaken, they generate about $15 billion in net income. So it just seems like they're betting a lot on this investment that they really don't even have the funds for. So are they over leveraged? I think that's where the uncertainty is coming from. And it's why Oracle has gone from $345 per share all the way down to $194. Do you guys remember? This is when the OpenAI partnership was announced. Again, a really great example of speculation and factoring things in advance before they actually happen. The stock market is a leading indicator, but it is incredibly bullish. I think some people are getting ahead of themselves where they're trying to take aggressive short positions right now. Yet, yeah, we pulled back, but a pullback is not a full sell-off. And again, you guys know, you guys know that I want markets to pull back. I would love to buy nvidia and all of big tech at a really good deal and add more to my long-term positions. But I don't have to be naive. I don't have to pretend and live in a fairy tale, right? Markets are consolidating. And what we heard yesterday, in my opinion, was not good news. Some people got so offended. I could just tell that people are so over leveraged because when I share something that their narrative doesn't agree with, they get so triggered. I don't care what other people are saying about what's going to happen to the market. They can say that it's, going to go to the moon. And why would that offend me? It only offends me when I have forms of uncertainty or I'm too over leveraged that I can't tolerate the possibility of that to happen. And it was very clear. Jerome Powell yesterday was not bullish for the market. The only real news that we received tomorrow that was not factored in was, hey, we thought that they were going to cut rates more in 2026. They only announced one rate cut. They're like, oh, well, they're going to start quantitative easing. Yeah. Okay, that's not a surprise. They just ended quantitative tightening, and that was expected. They stated that they are going to make sure that and this is the biggest thing, is they want to make sure that moving forward, the committee, because it's not just Jerome Powell, and it's a handful of the people within the committee that have to vote, that stated that they are comfortable where they are at. They want to stay in a neutral position until data becomes more clear. Is inflation going up because of tariffs? And is the labor market still weakening? They feel like with 3 rate cuts in 2025, that was enough to pause, stay neutral for the start of 2026, and they have 1 rate cut planned for 2026. That is not bullish. That is not what the markets want. That is not what Trump wanted. And I get it. Trump is going to nominate another cutting rates individual into the Federal Reserve. That's one other member in a committee that still has to vote. Yeah. He's not going to dictate the entire direction of the Federal Reserve. And I think that's the thing that people tend to forget is, again, when there's a lot of quick changes of direction, why pretend that markets are going to go up, or why would I pretend that I know that markets are going to go down? We don't. We just have to digest the news that was shared. And it was not bullish news. And it's okay to acknowledge that based off of what has been factored in for the past few days, right? As markets began to recover, we're expecting not just a rate cut, but more rate cuts in the future. Very simple. January, there's not an expectation for a rate cut. That is not bullish. So you can say that, well, it doesn't matter. Jerome Powell's going to get replaced. Sure. After the first quarter of 2026. So for now, it does matter. And even after, he's just one member that is going to be replaced out of many that have to vote. And as of right now, as the committee stands, they feel like they've done enough where they can continue to pause with only one rate cut forecasted for 2026. Again, not bullish. So looking at where the markets are at, I think the picture is very clear. The markets are trying to decide, do we go higher or building an overbought reversal where if it breaks structure and breaks support, which it does not have confirmation of, don't hear what I'm not saying. If it does break structure, then we have a leg down. And then that's when the bears can really celebrate. As of right now, we all know that markets are more bullish than bearish. In today's live trading session with the LPP team, a lot of people were asking, why was I not so eager to short the market even more? Because of the uncertainty. Markets sold off so much during the pre-market session, I was unsure that they were going to continue with that same momentum. How terrible would it have been to have opened a short and then direction turned against you, especially when you know that markets have been more bullish than bearish. They're looking for any and every reason to go up. And even with the bad news that we received yesterday, I don't want to call it bad news, but with not the bullish news that we heard yesterday, they're still holding up. Markets are down 0.63%. It's in such the early stage that like when you really lay it out for yourself of how much downside potential there is, even in just recent timeframes, and how much upside potential there is, I don't need to be, early to make money in this market. If I believe markets are going to drop, I can just wait for my criteria to be met. I don't have to be risky. I don't have to be aggressive. And the same thing goes for those that want to go long, right? If you believe markets are going to go higher, I still believe that markets are consolidating right now, right? So maybe you do wait for a break above. And then if it breaks below support, then you can cut losses. But if you see another leg presenting itself that might run up, I respect that. We're all entitled to our own opinion based off of our perspectives and where we see the market going. So yeah, right? Like the bullish case is just as valid for someone's opinion as the bearish case. I just think that, hey, everything that is that we're learning about the market right now is shown to be more uncertain than it is certain. And what we just heard from the Federal Reserve is more bearish than it is bullish. So because of that, doesn't mean that I just have to short blindly. It means that, okay, I have my idea, I have my opinion, but my opinion doesn't move markets. My job is to work with the markets, not against it. So waiting for the criteria to be met. And that's what I plan to do. So as markets begin to show early signs of a possible overbought reversal on the 4-hour time frame, just like we said to our LPP traders today, stay patient, stay calculated. During an uncertain time, anytime that the market runs up very quickly or sells off very quickly, if you're up on that trade, I would not hesitate to make money, but to lock in profits, to lock in that money, because just as you see how quickly you made that money, you can easily give it back due to market volatility and uncertainty. So again, that is the message I wanted to share with you guys today, is that during an uncertain time, during a point where markets are consolidating, when in doubt, never be afraid to cash out. I respect your opinion as an individual. You have the right to believe anything that you want about the market. You should never be convinced that markets have to sell off or markets should go higher or that you need to make an investment just because someone else, that's someone else's opinion. It is our job based off of what we understand and what we believe to make investment and trade decisions based off of that. And for me, I think markets are overbought, but I respect the bull case. And because of that, I'm just going to wait for my criteria to be met. And until then, when in doubt, never be afraid to just stay cash, right? Being patient in this market, just like we did yesterday. Being patient in this market pays. We let the markets run up. They become overbought. A huge opportunity presents itself. We open up short and we make money during the sell-off and take profits due to the uncertainty, right? I made $7,300 yesterday shorting MSTR. And it was such an easy, fluid trade, and I enjoyed every minute of it, right? Get in, get out, make that money and bounce. We're all here for the same reason. Let's not pretend. You might not like my bear case, but guess what? Your opinion doesn't define mine. My opinion doesn't define yours. We're all here for the same reason, to make money and to trade intentionally and based off of criteria and manage and mitigate our risk. When we're wrong, it doesn't make us bad traders. It's just hopefully you do your part in holding yourself accountable and managing and mitigating risk. That's the part that can make you a bad trader, giving back more than you actually make. So again, very excited to follow up. And like I've said it before, I trade live every single morning. If you ever want to tune on into these live sessions, I'll be live tomorrow. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We have members that signed up back in 2018 that still watch me trade live every single day, and all they did is they paid once. Right now, you can get it for $300 off. It literally breaks down to like $1.35 a day. So whenever it is that you're ready to tune on in with the big discount, second link in the description down below, feel free to check it out. I appreciate your time, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.